Hi, I'm Evelyn. I'm 45 and I run my own interior design business. Pretty cool, right? But it wasn't always smooth sailing. I built this from the ground up after my first husband passed away. Life has a funny way of knocking you down, but you've got to get back up. Anyway, 2 years ago, I thought I hit the jackpot. I married Robert Carter, a handsome widower with a teenage daughter, Melissa. Let me tell you, blending families is no joke, especially when you're dealing with a chronic respiratory condition that has me lugging around an oxygen tank 24/7. Evelyn, honey, are you sure you're up for this? Robert asked one day, eyeing my oxygen tank. Robert, I've designed penthouses while hooked up to this thing. Trust me, I can handle a teenager, I said, trying to sound more confident than I felt. But man, was I wrong about Melissa. That girl was something else. Cold as ice, always ready with a snide comment. Nice tank, Evelyn, really matches your shoes, she'd say, dripping with sarcasm. I tried everything to bond with her, shopping trips, cooking together, even offered to redecorate her room. Nothing worked. I don't need your charity, she snapped when I suggested updating her bedroom. Robert, bless him, tried to mediate, but he travels so much for work he barely saw what was really going on. Girls, can't we all just get along? He pleaded before jetting off again. Things started getting weird around the house. My designs for clients would go missing, only to turn up crumpled in the trash. Items would disappear from my studio and reappear days later in odd places. One night, I asked Melissa about a missing client file. Sweetie, have you seen the Johnson file? It was on my desk yesterday. She looked at me with those cold eyes. Maybe you should be more careful with your things, Evelyn. It's not my fault you're getting forgetful in your old age. I was fuming but kept my cool. Melissa, I'm trying here. Can't we at least be civil? She just rolled her eyes and walked away. That's when I started doubting myself. Was I really getting forgetful? Was the stress of my condition making me paranoid? Then Robert announced his 2-week business trip to Asia. A chill ran down my spine at the thought of being alone with Melissa for that long. You'll be fine, babe, Robert assured me, kissing my forehead. It'll be a great chance for you two to bond. As I watched him drive away, Melissa appeared beside me with a strange smile. Just you and me now, Evelyn. This should be fun. I forced a smile, but inside I was dreading it. Little did I know, things were about to get much worse. The first few days after Robert left, I felt like I was walking on eggshells. My breathing got worse, and I found myself reaching for my inhaler more than usual. Something wasn't right. One morning, I woke up gasping for air. I fumbled for my oxygen tank, but even with the mask on, I didn't feel any better. That's when alarm bells started ringing in my head. Melissa, I called out, my voice weak. Can you come here for a sec? She appeared in the doorway, looking annoyed. What now? I'm not feeling well. Could you call Dr. Thompson for me? She rolled her eyes. Can't you do it yourself? I'm busy. As she walked away, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong. I decided to take matters into my own hands. I called my friend Jack, who works in security. Hey Jack, I need a favor. Can you hook me up with some hidden cameras? Sure thing, Evie. Everything okay? I hope so. Just being cautious. The next day, while Melissa was at school, I installed the cameras throughout the house. I felt guilty, but I needed to know what was happening. It didn't take long for the footage to reveal the horrifying truth. There was Melissa, clear as day, tampering with my oxygen tank. My heart nearly stopped as I watched her replace the oxygen with another canister. Oh my God, I whispered, my hands trembling as I replayed the video. I wanted to confront her immediately, but something held me back. I needed more evidence. If I was going to accuse my stepdaughter of attempted murder, I had to be absolutely certain. Over the next few days, I pretended everything was normal while secretly gathering more information. I checked my business accounts and noticed discrepancies. Money was missing, and it all traced back to Melissa. Then the phone calls started from clients. Evelyn, is everything okay? I heard you were closing down the business due to health issues. My blood ran cold. What? Who told you that? Your stepdaughter called to cancel our appointment. She said you were too sick to continue working. I was furious, but I kept my composure. There must be some misunderstanding. I'm perfectly fine to work. As I dug deeper, I uncovered more lies. Melissa had been telling Robert that I was mistreating her, fabricating stories about me locking her out of the house and withholding food. How could he believe this? I muttered as I scrolled through their text messages on the family iPad. One evening, while I was working late in my studio, I overheard Melissa on the phone. "Yeah, babe, it's all set. When Dad gets back, we'll stage the accident. With her oxygen tampered, it'll look like her condition finally got the best of her." I clasped my hand over my mouth, stifling a gasp. This wasn't just teenage rebellion. This was a calculated plan to kill me. With trembling hands, I reached for my phone. It was time to call for help, but who could I trust? And how could I protect myself until help arrived? As I heard Melissa's footsteps approaching, I quickly pretended to be asleep at my desk, my heart pounding so loudly I was sure she could hear it. "Sweet dreams, Evelyn," she said in a sickeningly sweet voice as she passed by. "Hope you're feeling better tomorrow." In that moment, I knew I wouldn't sleep a wink that night. I had to stay alert, stay alive, and figure out how to expose Melissa's true nature before it was too late. The next morning, my mind raced with plans. I picked up my phone and dialed a number I hadn't used in years. "Sarah, it's Evelyn. I need your help." Detective Sarah Thompson had been my friend since college. We'd lost touch over the years, but if anyone could help me now, it was her. "Ev, what's wrong? You sound terrible." I took a deep breath. "Sarah, I'm in danger. My stepdaughter is trying to kill me." I spent the next hour detailing everything I discovered. Sarah listened intently, occasionally interrupting with questions. "Jesus, Ev, this is serious. We need to set up a sting operation. Can you hold out for a few more days?" I glanced nervously at my bedroom door. "I think so, but Sarah, please hurry." Next, I called my lawyer. "Michael, I need you to freeze my business accounts and set up protective measures. And Michael, not a word to anyone, especially not Robert." With those calls made, I steeled myself to face Melissa. I had to keep pretending everything was normal while Sarah set up the operation. "Morning, Melissa," I said, forcing a smile as I entered the kitchen. She barely glanced up from her phone. "Whatever." Over the next few days, I played the role of the oblivious stepmother, all while secretly working with Sarah. We set up additional cameras and recording devices throughout the house. One afternoon, while Melissa was out, Sarah called with shocking news. "Ev, we've been digging into Melissa's boyfriend, Jake. He's part of a major drug ring. We think they've been using your business to launder money." My head spun. "What? How is that possible?" "The missing money from your accounts, it's being funneled through a series of shell companies. Melissa's been the inside person." I felt sick. How could I have been so blind? But the worst was yet to come. Later that night, I overheard Melissa on the phone again. "Jake, relax. I've done this before, remember? It worked with my mom. It'll work with her." I froze, my blood turning to ice. Melissa had killed her own mother. I immediately called Sarah. "We need to move now. Melissa's not just trying to kill me, she murdered her mother too." Sarah's voice was grim. "Okay, AV, we're ready. Tomorrow night, we'll catch her in the act." The next day was the longest of my life. Every time Melissa looked at me, I wondered if she could see the fear in my eyes. As night fell, I retreated to my bedroom, pretending to prepare for bed. In reality, I was wired with a hidden microphone, my heart pounding as I waited. Around midnight, I heard footsteps in the hallway. This was it. The door creaked open and Melissa slipped in, carrying my oxygen tank. I feigned sleep as she approached. Suddenly, the lights flicked on. "Freeze! Police!" Sarah's voice boomed through the room. Melissa screamed, dropping the tank. But before anyone could react, another voice cut through the chaos. "What the hell is going on here?" Robert's voice cut through the chaos as he stood in the doorway, his face twisted in confusion and horror. Before anyone could answer, Melissa lunged toward the window. Sarah reacted instantly, tackling her to the ground. As the handcuffs snapped around Melissa's wrists, I finally let out the breath I'd been holding for weeks. The nightmare was over, but the fallout was just beginning. I looked at Robert's shocked expression, knowing in that moment our lives would never be the same again. The next few hours blurred together, flashing police lights, sirens, and a barrage of questions. I sat on the edge of the bed, my oxygen mask in place, watching my world unravel. Robert paced back and forth, his face pale and drawn. "I don't understand." "Melissa, how could you do this?" he asked, his voice cracking. Melissa, now restrained and surrounded by officers, shot him a cold glare. "You never understood anything, Dad. You were always too busy chasing your next deal to see what was really going on. Sarah approached me with a notepad. Evelyn, we need your statement now. I nodded, inhaling deeply before speaking. I have everything documented: the tampering with my oxygen tank, the theft, the lies, and the conversation about her mother's death. Robert's head snapped up, his face white with disbelief. What? What about Caroline's death? I couldn't meet his eyes. Melissa admitted she was responsible for her mother's accident. The room fell into a stunned silence. Even the officers paused, absorbing the gravity of my words. Shortly after, Melissa's boyfriend was caught trying to flee town. As they led both of them away, Robert collapsed into a chair, his head in his hands. Evelyn, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. How could I have been so blind? A mix of pity and anger stirred inside me. You chose not to see, Robert. You left me alone with her. You ignored my concerns. You believed her lies. He reached for my hand, desperation in his eyes. Please, Evelyn. We can get through this. I love you. I pulled my hand away, feeling a strange sense of calm. No, Robert, we can't. I can't trust you anymore. I want a divorce. The months that followed were a whirlwind. Melissa's trial was all over the news. She was sentenced to 25 years for attempted murder, fraud, and her involvement in her mother's death. Her boyfriend received 15 years for his role in a drug ring. Robert lost his job when the scandal broke, and last I heard, he was facing bankruptcy. As for me, life has a way of working out, even after the darkest times. My clients rallied around me, and the uncomfortable publicity brought new opportunities. I expanded my business, hired more staff, and even opened new offices in New York and LA. 5 years flew by in a blink. Now, as I stand here, breathing freely thanks to a successful lung transplant, I'm about to accept the award for Businesswoman of the Year. And now, please welcome to the stage, Evelyn Carter. As I walk up to accept the award, I catch a glimpse of a familiar face in the crowd, Robert. He looks older, grayer, watching me with sad eyes. I heard he tried to reach out last month, asking for a chance to reconcile. I didn't respond. I accept the award, smiling as the applause swells. Thank you all. This award isn't just for me. It's for everyone who's faced adversity and come out stronger. Later, at the after party, Sarah finds me. Great speech, Eve. You know, after everything you've been through, most people would be bitter. But look at you, mentoring young designers, donating to lung disease research. You're amazing. I smile, looking out over the city lights. Life's too short for bitterness, Sarah. I've learned that the hard way. All we can do is move forward, be better, and never let the toxic people win. As I raise my glass for a toast, a sense of peace washes over me. The nightmare is over. I didn't just survive, I won. And the future? It's looking brighter than ever. Question for you. If you were in Evelyn's shoes, would you have given Melissa a second chance after her apology from prison? Or do you believe some actions are truly unforgivable? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective might help others who are grappling with forgiveness in their own lives. If you enjoyed this story of resilience and justice, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more compelling stories of overcoming adversity. Your support helps us bring these important narratives to light.